This is a sequence that I like to call put down your phone and pick up a bolster, which I have sitting behind me. It's an evening sequence that I love to do when I come home. And it's only about 10, 15 minutes of lying over a bolster. But what this sequence allows me to do is to kind of make a reset, to just recede onto the refuge of my yoga mat and give myself a few minutes to reset, reconnect with my breath. And then I can make smarter choices that I like better about how my evening is going to proceed. So it's a great sequence right when you get home, if you've been out all day or out at work, you're coming home and instead of what can be a pattern for many of us, just kind of sinking into the couch, picking up the phone, starting to check in with Instagram, etc., to just invite ourselves onto the mat for a couple of minutes. It doesn't have to be a 90-minute sweaty flow practice in order to make an impact on our evening. Or the other time I really like this sequence is before bed. Kind of put on your pajamas and lie over a bolster to begin that transition from our verticality going, racing, being, achieving mode into a more horizontal brain patterns and emotional patterns as we begin to prepare for sleep. Okay, so really, I think a bolster is the number one thing that you need. If you are seriously interested in restorative yoga, that's the number one prop that I suggest you buy. Let me adjust so you can see a little bit better. So step one, sit on the floor and lean back on your bolster. Let your buttocks become heavy and the weight of your hips weighs down. And then, I love this transition, I bring my elbows onto the back of the bolster and I'm actually pressing this way, creating traction here to lengthen. It's almost like I'm opening up between my vertebrae. That's what I'm thinking as I dive up and over the bolster. So the hips provide a kind of counterweight here. And then you need to find the place that feels comfortable. I like the feet wide and the knees together. Adjust the hips, the pelvis, so that you have a sense that you're hanging down towards the floor, not this, back bending, arching the neck, and not this, collapsing onto the floor, hips lifted. I'm really draped over, the back bend is happening here. And then I like move my book, the arms wide here on the pinky side. Close the eyes. And find the breath. So you'll stay maybe 10, 20 breaths like this. Beginning to open the front diaphragm. Beginning to land in a quieter brain. And just beginning to come into contact with the physical sensations of your breath. Then it's a really nice transition from here to simply roll yourself to one side, roll the knees over. I'm going to turn towards you so you can see. And what I do here is I'm again anchoring the pelvis and lengthening up and over, lengthening this underside. As I drape up and over the bolster, it's great to have a block nearby to make a pillow. And then I'm creating a sort of cross here. So I'm gonna lengthen out of this bottom heel. I like to bend the top knee over. So you can do this twist, which many of us know is slightly more active, or you can bend the bottom knee and stretch the top heel out and reach the top wrist up and over. So this is lengthening this whole intercostal between the ribs here. And you can kind of rock forward and back, beginning to find a place that feels juicy. And you stay. 5 breaths, 10 breaths. It's really important to kick out through this heel, slightly losing you on the camera, kicking out here. I can't practice without closing my eyes. It's like impossible. Okay, so stay again, 5, 10, 20 breaths on this side, and then you can transition back through a breath in the back bend, and you come to the other side. Now, I'm gonna press myself up. What's really nice here is to transition into a supported cobra pose. So after you're done with the second side, you simply roll over. I'm gonna turn around so that I'm still looking at you guys. But you understand the idea that you're gonna just go from the twist here, and then you can roll onto your belly, come onto your elbows. Sometimes people call this Sphinx. I like to spread the feet here, wider than you think, much wider than you think. Helps the sacrum move into this back bending action. And then I'm just gonna gently press, barely pressing here into the palms and especially the heels of my hands. Oh, supported cobra pose. So delicious. Lots of pressure on the belly. Can be nice before dinner rather than after. And just stay as long as you like here. Be careful not to do the pose from your neck. This is really not that interesting. The neck is so mobile. I know that you can do this, but what's more interesting perhaps is if you can lengthen here, this low belly area that's supported on the bolster. Can you lengthen in and up from there? Ooh, maybe coming onto the fingertips on a second round. Okay. And then coming down, really important to rest for a few breaths. Bring the forehead down and let go. Okay, coming up to hands and knees. You might just add in a cat-cow because it's so much fun. You might add a cat-cow here, a couple rounds if that feels good. And then what I'm gonna do is take a strap. There's 2 more poses I wanna do in the sequence. I'm gonna take a strap and I'm gonna lie over the bolster and use the strap on my foot. Again, I'm gonna switch over, just camera-wise for you guys. So it's again, this same starting position. We're gonna come up onto the bolster and then hook one foot with the belt. It's just hooked like this. And then you can consider straightening the bottom leg, straightening the top leg. I like to bend my elbows actually and hook them down on the bolster here. You have kind of some nice little traction there. And then it's just plain. So I want this top knee straight, but I'm okay if you need to let the strap go a little bit. And then what I like to do here is just play with circles. It's as if I'm moving the femur, this large leg bone, around in the hip socket, just making some space. And then as much as feels good, some people are gonna like this, coming open here. It's quite active, but what feels really good is to come across another twist. It's really nice to put the block underneath your foot to give yourself some kindness in the pose. And then this arm rotating it in, thumb down, up and across. Ooh. Exhaling here. As many breaths as you like. And when you're done transitioning back, if it's if you've got a happy knee, I love to do a half lotus here and just play a little bit in this right hip. Okay, release. Obviously, second side. Always gentle in the transitions as we come out. And now we're going to end with a pose from Mama's new book, Restore and Rebalance. I'll put the link near this video for you to see. It's pose number 15, I believe, on page 94. And it's Urdhva Paschimottanasana, so upward facing forward bend. And I'm going to demo it here, but I suggest you get the book because there's lots of tips there. Yeah, this pose is an inversion and it really quiets the mind. It's also going to create pressure on the belly, which some women love when they're menstruating, although inversions are counterindicated. You have to see how you feel. I think it's almost has some similar effects of like a baby shoulder stand. So let me move you guys a little bit closer and I'll show you what it looks like. So you're simply gonna lean back on the bolster, come over, and then the legs come up and over. So you've got to find just the place where you're balanced on the bolster. That's the trickiest part of this pose, is getting balanced so that when your legs come over, you have the sensation that there's no effort, that you can stay for 10, 20 breaths here without interfering. There's no sense that I'm holding my legs up. They're simply gently bent and rested on my belly, creating this really pleasant pressure here on my low abdomen. And when you're done, after you've reached your 10 or 20 breaths, what's really nice is to simply scoot the bolster and roll gently down. Can you cross the legs on the bolster for a couple breaths, letting yourself sort of recalibrate. And then always, 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 we can roll to the side and gently, laboriously, reluctantly roll ourselves up. So that's the sequence for you. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you want more stuff like this, let me know in the comments and stay in touch. Lizzie Lasater on Facebook and on Instagram. Sending you a big namaste across the skies.